And we live. Yo, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning. It's your mid or morning good caffeine for the hump day to start this week off. My name is Donnell Cole. I'm the co-founder of Modern Manhood Foundation. Here with my co-partner in crime, Damon. And what's up, bro? How you feeling?
Listen, I'm pretty good, man. I got at least my good 6 hours of sleep, so I'm
Yes,
hanging
my
in
man.
there.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah,
I got 6 hours and I'm on the struggle bus. I'm not gonna lie, I had to go get some coffee. Heaven hit me with this. I thought you was gonna stop drinking coffee. I'm sitting up here in the Starbucks line like, bruh, how does she know I'm even getting coffee? And I turn around and she's in the car behind me. I'm like, just let me go ahead and pay for theirs. And why is she in my business right now? Come on, like she pays my bills. But anyway, it's another story. So what's up, man? Are you excited to be back on this podcasting?
it's been too long, man. You know, we really we jumped out the gate. We had some 3 seasons of great conversation, and it's funny because whenever we're seeing stuff pop up, comments or memes or things that really speak to what's happening in the culture and in our spaces, I'm like, oh, we got an episode about that. And so I think it's time to run a lot of that back. And of course, we're excited to kind of be back on. Yeah, so this is dope, man, and we're leaning into to getting past perfection.
Absolutely. That's a good I think that's a good place to be in. There should be a theme like progress over perfection. Sometimes we're in our head so much about how we think things should look, and it's good to have a sense of expectations, but not letting your standard get in place of your purpose, where it's
Mhm.
preventing you from really, showing what you can do and aiding others in their development. So I'm all the way with you, bro. So what's popping, man? What you want to talk about?
Man, it's a lot to talk about. All right. So look, I had actually posted this morning, and we talked a little bit about this last night after your class that you were teaching, and I'm like, there's a lot going on in our space about this whole Tyrese clip,
Let's talk about it. I seen the
and I
clip.
think
I watched it a few times actually.
okay, because fine. Let's say finally, and in a good way, we're starting to really have the conversation about men's health. And as much as I like to see, men expressing themselves and vulnerability and the likes of it being a part of our normal and natural experience, sometimes I'm just like, nah, like that's not gonna cut it. That's not it. And that's kind of how I've been feeling about seeing that. And I've not said much of it, but yeah, I know it might be
I,
an unpopular opinion, but I feel like that clip does more damage than it does help.
really,
I do.
I
All
think I
right,
like
let's
to.
start the clip
Yeah, let's look at
because
it.
some of y'all might think that I'm talking about him singing the Star Spangled Banner and looking like Marvin Gaye and acting a fool up there, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's another episode of Tyree shenanigans we need to talk about. But let me share which one we're talking about right now, especially since I think it really speaks to some of the issues we need to really get into when it comes to men's health. All right, can you see that on the screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Well, now I don't know where it is. See, this would happen when you take a break from podcast and you forget how to run it. I know what I'm gonna do. Let's do it this way.
Man, that's really interesting too, bro. I can't wait to get your take on it.
All right, here we go.
Ray was in it.
Reese, you deal with a lot of grief. Like I think about, Brother Paul Walker, and I think about
John Singer.
Ray, John Singleton, your mother,
Divorce.
divorce.
Both of my
People don't
sisters
look
died.
at your sisters. People don't look at divorce as grief, but you did. You lose things. You probably lost a lot of friends when you went through your mental health breakdown. Are you really, really, really? Have you really taken the time to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody.
See, this is why men can't express how they really feel.
No
You see, when
passive
you start to
aggressive
express how you really
opinions.
feel,
No, I'm a website building genius. Oh,
And Ray passed in 2022, right?
Ray passed away, and this is the last piece of art he left the world with. And it is the most uncomfortable performance you'll ever see from Ray Liotta.
Wow.
I mean, I'm
Why
talking about
uncomfortable?
on the set. Ray, what's going on? Yeah, all right. Ray wasn't fucking with nobody.
Mm.
Ray was in it.
Reese, you deal with a lot of grief. Like I think about, Brother Paul Walker, and I think about
John Singleton.
Ray, John Singleton, your mother,
Divorce.
divorce.
Both of my
people
sisters
don't look
died.
At, your sisters. People don't look at divorce as grief, but you did. You lose things. You probably lost a lot of friends when you went through your mental health breakdown. Are you really, really, really? Have you really taken the time to deal with all of that grief, or do you just try to stay busy to avoid it?
I'm doing the best I can with every 24 hours I get. That's it.
Get some tissue for me, brother.
No, I don't need no tissue. Black men cry.
That's right.
Fucking tissue. Every 24 hours I get, I'm doing the best I can. Beautiful Pain, 1992. There is no square footage I could ever live in. There is no rims, no jewelry, and no car. There is no net worth. There is no press release. There is no co-star. There is no collaboration in the world that could ever replace my mama. I could ever feel the void of what it's like to wake up and get married and want to be in something for the rest of your life. And it goes away.
You're making me cry.
Get Tyrese some tissue.
I don't need no tissue.
Man, you US, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love you.
You've been holding
Do
this in
you
the whole
understand
interview,
how
though.
much power it is in letting it go?
Yeah, because you've been holding it the whole interview. I've been watching you.
You asked me the question.
I did, but I mean, I'm getting you.
You should have never asked the question.
I love you.
If you didn't want to see.
I love you, brother. I love you. I love you.
How hard it's been to get through.
I love you. I love you, black man.
Okay, do you not cry?
Absolutely.
You might not bring it to the radio.
Absolutely.
But this is what being grown
Thank
is.
you, brother.
I'm not doing this.
I need one. My makeup going to mess up.
Hear me.
My concealer is sitting today.
Hear me. Black men cry. When divorces happen, women aren't the only one that are devastated.
Come on.
When a miscarriage happens, women are not the only one that you should be checking on. When you can't put food on the table because your career goes up and then it goes down, stop calling, skipping over the man, and just checking on the woman. This is real shit out here. I'm going to wipe my own tears.
Messing up my makeup, Tyrese.
I love you, sis. When you do things from the heart, it affects hearts. That's what beautiful pain is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bro. Let's break it down.
All
What's your
right,
thoughts?
so, and here's the thing, like, I want to be real honest about this and clear about it. I love that he was able to really share and get to a space that is vulnerable about the things that we go through as men and really speak to that. Like, that's beautiful. That's a big part of, our own platform and what we believe in when it comes to healing and growing. But like, we got to go back to literally the question that Charlamagne asked, which was an amazing question. He asked him how he was doing, like, how's he dealing with all of that? Because, when you shift gears from talking about, losing, he talks about losing Ray Liotta, losing people in his life, losing his marriage, losing, his semblance of being able to take care of himself and his family, and the roller coaster that is. What Charlamagne's question was, how are you dealing with it? How are you doing going through that? And Tyrese's answer immediately was to really feel overwhelmed with all of that. And that's real life. But did he really answer the question? Because he did what we always do, which is we posture. We get real macho. I'm feeling overwhelmed, but I'm dealing with it. And his answer, I'm doing the best I can with the 24 hours I got. Like, are you though? Because we get to that space and we get to emote. We get to feel a little bit of what we're feeling, and then we affect other people. Right? We affect other people when they tell us, "Oh God, I'm hard for you right now." But how much of that posture and throwing, nope, I ain't gonna wipe my tears. I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm just gonna keep on. As a matter of fact, I'm cleaning. And so I see that, and I'm like, from my personal experience.
Yeah.
The way I handle it, and that's not the right. Like when people will show up, damn, you going through this, you going through that. I feel it. I went through a terrible 3-year divorce, and like I'm not even a year out of it. And it a lot of hits and hurts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm lucky I got a solid village and people
Yeah.
to lean on and who can lift me up when I needed it. I've been through having people kept from me that I care about and people who I've had
Yeah.
to, sever ties with and separate from. So I
Yeah.
empathize with
Yeah.
his experience and with the reality of what we feel. But that I'm just doing the best I can with what I got.
Not
That
good.
that don't, that don't cut it.
I
It
think.
feels good because you can identify with it, but
Well,
that's
I
not
think
enough.
it leads to a myriad of other issues, such as the depression that he dealt with, right? The psychological breakdowns that he was experiencing, the medication and having to visit doctors and them put together certain cocktails just to have you functioning and not realizing the turmoil that he experienced with his other relationships. I think that's the
Yeah,
most damaging part of it because you go through a divorce, you're doing what you can to see your kids, which is terrible for a father. That comes with things. You're trying to get a new job. You may have to switch careers. You may have to, and then you got to keep a roof over your head, right? And then you have the expectations of how society sees you. And then when it does come out, you get condemned. People ridicule you, they mock you, they make fun of you, which makes you feel even worse. And then you go back into the stoicism, which is what's commonly seen
yeah,
as a man, right? Even in right now, and I understand what you're saying. I agree with it, but I also would appreciate the fact he said, "Don't give me the tissue. Let me process it. Let me sit in this." Like Charlemagne coming to his aid, and I know this is for myself. I got this problem, not this problem. I think sometimes we see a person in pain, and we want to ease their pain and
mhm,
we want to show that we're there for them. But there is a time when you need to sit in that, process it, so you can function through it. I didn't see so much escapism or avoidance in this when I seen in Tyrese. I think the way he
mhm,
related could have been better, such as saying, "I don't need the tissue. I want to feel all of it because it's healthy to feel." My brother passed away. Man, our birthdays are 7 days apart. This is somebody like one of my high school partners. And when he passed away a couple years ago, we was in the middle of doing things and we was going through a counseling with a group of guys, and I didn't want to let the group of guys know because we was in this therapy session that, damn, my brother just passed. I just got the call before I went into this session, but I felt like I
mhm.
needed to do it. And after the session was over, immediately I wanted to go back to the positive mode and the
Yeah,
activities, and I had to tell myself, man, you got to sit in this. Like, you got to take time away and really sit in this. And it's challenging because we're so wired for production. We feel
yeah,
like we can't give ourselves the place and space to fall apart because everything comes down on who we are to sustain our living, you know?
yeah. And and that's a good point. I think I don't want it to. I don't intend to demean the man or down the man or say he's not doing the work. But
No,
I
no, no, no.
think
You're right.
it comes a time where we have to actually answer what that question looks like.
Right.
And like I'll use an analogy. If the question is, "Hey man, like I see you got a spare tire on your car. Like you
Yeah.
good? How you working through that? Right? You can't say, "Hey, I'm just listen. I'm rolling on what I got." Okay, but how long is that gonna last you? Because
Yeah.
that spare tire, right?
Yeah.
That donut ain't gonna get you very far. It's gonna slow you down. It's
Absolutely.
not gonna last as long as a regular tire. And the question, hey, how you dealing with that? Like, are you saving up money to get a new tire now? Like, have you already made plans? Do you have a date and a place? Are you searching on Amazon or on online to find the best tire? And are you gonna take off work on Friday to get a new
Yo,
tire put
Pete.
on?
Yo,
Are you
are you
getting
are you are you not going around other mechanics because mechanics is gonna see them things that need to be fixed?
You know what I'm saying? Like, are you getting your tires rotated? Are you taking care? Like, we can say, hey, like
Yeah.
I'm just doing the best I can with what I got, and that's what
Yeah.
we do,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah.
us in the same space, and we
Yeah.
don't deal with it. And I
Yeah.
feel like in through all the things that we've watched him go through publicly, like I don't know that
Yeah.
man. I can't really speak
Yeah.
to what he's really going through and what's happening beyond the camera. But like that was a moment to really talk about what that work looks like, so that other men who are struggling with the same thing know that
Right.
they don't have to just grit and bear it because he's successful and his answer is I'm just doing the best I can. And that shit, that's what's killing us. That's what's killing us.
Yeah, and I mean, even success is multi-layered. Like you said, your net worth couldn't give it back. The rims in the car, the acres, the footage, none of that stuff ever really equates. Like even if you have success, it doesn't
Hmm.
have proper balance within harmony to enjoy what it truly means, right?
Yeah.
So is it really success? It's not really. Crystal says
Right.
sometimes, or KG, sometimes survival mode is the only viable option, but that's why we're building this community so thriving can be an option. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah, Christy
mode and
said,
it's a
woo,
moment.
appreciate you, Christy. Yeah, man, we on it
It's a
today.
moment. And he been, it's a moment, and I think that's important for us to really talk. Like being in that moment of vulnerability, being in that moment where someone asks a question and it immediately brings you to tears. You can't live your whole life like that.
Right,
And no matter what you're going through, you got to be able to get to points where that's not how you live, and that's not you don't get past that point by just doing the
right,
best you can with what you got today.
right.
Doing the best I can with the 24 I got. That won't get you past it. We live
But,
in that. In that.
yep, absolutely. But then, this also brings up the value of having a community that allows you to show up authentically. Right?
Yeah.
How many Charlemagnes do we actually have in our life that's gonna ask the questions that need to be asked? Right? I think there's a time and place for everything. I'm not saying it's the right time because Tyrese was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you asked for it, you took it there. I'm gonna give you this." But how many people in our lives do we really have like that? Where we feel like we can show up authentically, unburying everything. And a lot of times people either act like they don't have the capacity for it, or it's overstepping my boundaries, or you know what?
Hmm.
I actually don't even like being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or people do this. Oh, you're just playing the victim.
Yeah. And that's sad because that's something that we hear a lot as men. There's this post that I saw the other day, and this has been something tricky that I know that we're going to talk about and really break down in our spaces because it's real. Is that you know 70% of domestic violence victims are women? Yes, right, and not taken away from that reality for women in what it looks like to be susceptible to that. But then when you compare that to the reality that 50% of domestic violence deaths are men, it hints to a part of the reality that we don't talk about much. And not
Right.
to segregate or co-opt that reality from women, but it shows you that if we go from 30% of the victim to 50% of deaths, there's a whole 20% that's just not being reported, that's not being addressed, that's not being understood until it's too late.
Yep.
And I say that in this case, and
Whew.
it's important in this case because when we talk about men being able to share what they're feeling, to be able to share what they're going through, to be able to feel what they feel when they need to feel it, you can't throw the tissue out and say, I ain't wiping these tears, because if we don't
Yeah.
address what the pain is and wiping the tears away and actually having the tissue and being able to sit in that feeling is the
Yeah.
difference between just
Yeah.
sitting in posture and no, we cry. Like now you moved into an aggressive defense of the fact that you have feelings instead of actually dealing with what those feelings are. And,
I
and,
think
and
that's
I say
that's
that,
that's true. I can see that.
that
But
that
then
part. And it's
again,
deeper than
I
just a
think
little video.
if we talk about that, then I think we also have to talk about why do we feel like men's emotions need to be regulated and how they express if it's not bringing any harm to any other parties.
Well, good point. Do you feel like that's kind of
I
the
don't I
stance
don't know.
that I'm
I've
seeing?
I've laughed before and people like you laugh too loud, right? You must be hiding
Yeah,
something. If I work, are you working too hard? You must be running from something. If I
yeah,
cry, oh God, here we go. Let's stop the world for
yeah,
him. You know, it's like it's always a way. Oh, you can't do this. This is too. It's too. Society, you can't be this aggressive. That's toxic masculinity. Oh, he's sharing his heart to his wife. Oh, he's sappy. He's soft. Like, why
yeah.
is it that everything a man does has to be regulated in one way or another? And I'm not saying that women don't deal with it, but I'm saying,
Mhm.
like, what is socially acceptable where it's okay for me to show up and be the way I am, express the way I am, and it be okay because the journey looks really different from everybody else. Everybody's experience is not going to be the same. I think
True.
that even for Tyrese, man, like coping with the level of stardom that he has, and we can see clearly he needs tools. And I agree with you 100,000%. He needs tools. Only saying I'm coping with the best I can with the 24 hours that I have is not good enough. It's okay, but it's not good enough, because when we love you, we should want better for you. We don't want you to always be stuck in this cycle, because that's the cycle that we lived in for generations, that, from the past. It's great that we're having this conversation, but what do we do to move the needle? That's where we're at, right? We got diabetes, we got high blood pressure, our men are having strokes, they're dying 7 years early. We know these things. What are we doing so that you can create transformation in your life, so that you can create a thriving ecosystem in your community? What do we do about that? That's the
Yeah,
conversation we need to really be having, so you can
absolutely.
show up for your mate.
I think, one of the things that we've got to get to a space where we can actually have a conversation without being overwhelmed with our emotions. Because we'd like to think that, oh, he's got to control his emotions. No, like, it's okay to have to feel, one of my favorite things, feel what you need to feel till you don't need to feel it anymore. But
Mhm.
you've got to get to a point where you can feel, you can actually address conversations without your emotions taking over and having to deal with said emotion at its height. That's the space that we've got to really work into being able to talk about it. And
Right.
and I hope that, I hope and I pray for that for brother, because I know that right now he's obviously a passionate guy. He's obviously a man who's lived through a lot of shit that some of us just have
Yeah.
never experienced.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't want to take that away from his experience, and don't let me, some little random guy in Oklahoma decide how he should deal with his life.
Oh
But
no! What we
yeah,
not gonna do? What we not supposed to do is minimize the impression and impact of what you represent, to esteem the value of another person. That's not what we gonna do. No.
all right,
You
listen.
know. You
Okay, listen. Let me
no.
rephrase that. Let
What?
me rephrase that.
What?
Listen, I got you,
Yes.
bro, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're right. Listen, let me rephrase it.
What? Hold on, hold on, hold on. That
Okay,
needs to
okay.
be a conversation. Where did that come from in you that made you feel like you needed to even do that? That's the word. We're gonna talk about that later, but carry on.
Listen, I'll rephrase it because you're right. You're right. I don't have to minimize, my stance and my particular understanding of it to um, to create space between the fact that I don't know him. And so I'll say this:
Okay.
even though I don't know him personally and I don't know the ins and outs of his experiences, I feel like it would be really helpful if he could share with us in the same platform, space, and time what the skills and tools that he is using in order to really grow the way he knows he wants
You know what? I'm gonna put that on my vision board. Let's put that on the vision board. We're gonna get Tyrese to a master class one day. All right,
to.
bro.
That's
So
right.
before we wrap up, we appreciate y'all tapping in. What up, Essence? What up, KG? Christy, I know it's more y'all. I can't see y'all's names on here, but we appreciate y'all showing up. Let me see before we
Yeah,
wrap up. Realistically, do you think the pain can be dealt with? I don't believe that kind of loss can ever be fixed. It's more than just trauma. The loss he lost almost every woman he loves. And what a man without the love of one. Okay, so I think that I do believe it. I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think it's the way these narratives and stories we tell ourselves shape our perception that causes the most chaos, right? When my mama passed away, and this is not to take away from Tyrese. When my mom passed away, I festered. I felt the feels. But then again, I thought about every moment that she contributed to my life. And I got to this point where in my mind, I thought about when she was tutoring me math. I sucked at math, bro. I was terrible. People used to make fun of me. But I thought about these moments when she tutored me. And I thought about the love that she represented all these years of my life. And then I thought to myself, is it really a loss? I think because people perceive death as something that's being taken from them, that it makes them
mhm,
feel like they lost something. They're on the losing end of the deal. If you had the opportunity to experience a love that's so rare that brought significance and value to your life that other people could only hope and wish for, I think we should be able to have the ability to appreciate it, love it, enjoy it, be more mindful to enjoy the relationships that we do have. So that when they go, we can appreciate the fact that we even had the opportunity to experience them. But if we look at like something that's going to be taken away from us, we become possessive, we become territorial, we become egotistical. And that's where all our pain comes from because we're giving too much power to our attachments.
absolutely. And I'll finish that with saying the mission shouldn't be to fix it or to
Right.
erase it or to even ignore those feelings when they come up, because the grief, the feeling of wanting to spend time with someone who you can never have again is a real part of our experience, and it's going to come back around, and it's going to feel as real as it did the moment it happened, because that's the way
Absolutely.
your chemistry is created. So the moment, the idea is not to fix it, it's not to clean it up, it's not to make it pretty, but it is to understand that in your life, in experiencing and enjoying those things that once were for you, enjoying them for the now and for what they represented and brought into your life is what
Yeah,
we're trying to become really good at doing. I got a
that's it.
was wife. I don't have a wife. I have a was
Yeah.
wife, and I can still look back and say, you know what? As much as we went through with our lives needing to be separate, I can actually enjoy the memories and the great times that we did have, because that was a part of my life and a great part of my life. So we got to get to
Absolutely.
that space. We're not trying to fix it. Yeah.
Woo,
So,
about
all
to break it
right, y'all
down.
know we can go. Y'all know we can go.
Yeah,
We can
we
have this
can, bro.
conversation longer, but
All
we have to
day.
cut out. Before we do, let's catch them up on what we got coming up. Right? We've got a
Let's go.
master class. We got a master class coming up on August 31st.
3 times.
Right here.
We got a master class
Yeah,
coming up, y'all. All
August
fellas,
31st
man,
is
from
free.
yeah, we've had people from 17 to 77 at this master class. It is designed to help you become the best version of yourself. We make this guarantee everybody that shows up. How many people we got registered? Because we got quite a few people registered as of right now for the master class.
About 25, and we have 2 sessions, so you don't have to come to
Yeah,
both sessions. Just come to one session in the morning, or come to one in the afternoon, and we'll be
yeah,
clarifying what that looks like for you guys. So check us out at manhuntmasterclass.com, and we got a huge men's mental health event. Well, it's not just mental health, but it's a men's health meetup that's coming up in
yeah,
October.
yeah,
So yeah, if you heard sprinklings of that, get ready, because we'll be talking about that big time.
yeah,
It's gonna be a dope
yeah.
time. But yeah, come to
Hey,
the masterclass.
Vernelia's on the thing today. Vernelia, just want to say I'm sorry. I had to kick her out the man cave. Somehow Vernelia got added to the man cave, and my auto suggestion or auto welcome gave a hey you all welcome Vernelia to the man cave. Like, hey, hold on. Why is she in the man cave? So I had to
Um,
sorry, we had to get you out the man cave. Hey, but what's up,
listen,
Ty? What up, KG?
yeah, we love you, sis, but
We love
yeah,
you. Hey, your tea is amazing. If y'all ain't had a tea, it's life changing. All right. But
absolutely.
all right, hey, we're gonna get back to the podcast, and we hope this was a blessing to y'all. Do us a favor, go ahead and share it. Women that's advocating for men's health, thank you all. Fellas, so being soldiers in the field, thank you all for tapping in. We're gonna keep doing this. And any final words, Damon?
Let's go out and be great. It's hump day.
Yeah, it's hump day.
Get it.
Yeah,
Get
that's
it.
it.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm gonna drink my coffee. And I think that's it. Thank you for tapping in our podcast. For more information on our organization, you can go to manhoodmasterclass.com. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means we have a fiduciary duty to make sure we take care of our constituents, and not just like saying long words because it makes me feel fly. But anyway, y'all have an amazing day. Happy hump day to you, and peace.
Peace.